Good morning, everybody. So Tan is live, right? I'm back in the kitchen because I want to show y'all this real quick recipe that I have. I've mentioned to y'all before that I have a love-hate relationship with figs. I grew up with a fig tree in my backyard, my parents' backyard. And it was a tiny fig tree, but it produced like crazy. And Mom the Great would take figs and she made everything and nothing out of figs. I think about Forrest Gump. She made fig syrup, she made fig preserve, she might have made fig jelly, fig spread, whatever a fig could do, she was making with figs. So at some point, my mind got tired of that. The taste wasn't right, or maybe it was a particular type of fig, and I don't know what type of fig that was, but for a long time, Tan did not eat figs. However, I've mentioned many times before that I took a class at the Tarrant County Food Bank, and they were showcasing different foods and different ways to prepare foods to encourage healthier eating, or I guess, I don't know, maybe better eating. I don't know. But I took the class, right? And they had so many things that I didn't like. First was beets. Tan don't like beets. And they made them differently, and it was okay, but they still had the dirty taste that I don't like. The reason I don't like beets, so I couldn't get with that. They made okra. Yeah, and I was like, I really don't like okra, and they could tell. I mean, I stayed for the whole session. Then I went to the canning preparation class too, but they could tell when I wasn't gonna be fond of the stuff. They said we got okra. I was like, ah. They was like, you don't like okra? No, I don't like okra. We're gonna fix it three ways. So they made the okra three ways. They made some okra cakes, like okra pancakes. They were still slimy. No bueno. I think they made that nasty okra tomato gumbo that my mom loves so much. Yuck. And I believe they fried them. Still wasn't with it. The texture wasn't right. I wasn't with it. Couldn't do it. Maybe the flavors were okay, so I might have taken away the flavor profile from that. But still, Tan ain't eat no okra. But the fig, when they did the fig, they made a fig compote that they put on top of a toast. That wasn't so great. Then I can't remember what else they did with the fig, but the recipe that I'm going to show you guys today, and what got me back into figs and made me want to get a fig tree, what made me want to get a fig tree was cinnamon roasted figs. Now, I'm talking to you about figs because I have a fig tree in my garden on my grow row. And I've grown these four little precious figs. My fig tree is looking sick right now, so I don't know if she gonna produce any more for me, but I wanna show y'all this recipe. I've been saying I was gonna do it for a while, and here it is. Here it is today. Uh, and I was telling Gabby was in my last live when I did that dirty cabbage with the sister gardener. Gabby said, ew, cabbage. And this is how I eat. If there's a component I like, I can add it to something else and incorporate it and make it better. So, uh, this cinnamon sugar is everything. Okay, here's something else. Here's something else in the kitchen. Tan is in the kitchen, and I mentioned to y'all before, staples in my pantry are garlic powder, onion powder, and that garlic salt. I also normally have some cinnamon, but Tan is not a baker, so I'm out of cinnamon. So what I did was, Tan did some Googling, and I looked up what is a suitable substitute for cinnamon. And what I find it is, for a direct substitute, you can use equal 1-to-1 of ground ginger or nutmeg for warm flavor, though nutmeg is stronger. For baked goods, what's perfect is swap out pumpkin pie spice or use allspice. So Tan got allspice today. I'm gonna be using allspice in my cinnamon, in my sugar, and I'm doing something different. I'm doing something different. The recipe is for cinnamon figs. However, Tan is making cinnamon sugar figs. Tan has white sugar and brown sugar. Now, what I'm gonna do is, and here's another thing I always say, this is not my first time making this recipe, but when I'm cooking something different or new, or I'm using items that I haven't used before, I look for recipes that are easy and have the least amount of ingredients or the least steps. That way my mind can concentrate on kind of getting it right and exploring and tasting what it is. So I'm going to show you the recipe that I found. I'm going to see if it finally loaded all the way up. I can't get it to load all the way up, but look. This is Melanie's easy fig roasted recipe. Let me show you a picture of hers. Mine probably won't look like that because I'm doing something kind of different, but look. I'm going to put those figs, I'm going to cut those figs open, I'm going to dredge them in the sugar, and then I'm going to put them in the air fryer and let them cook. Now, the thing about I like is this recipe, when I looked at it, the preview says, slice figs, stir in sugar, put in toaster. That's exactly what Tan is about to do. I'm going to get a little bit of splash of this allspice. Oh, that smells good. So here's what's happening in the kitchen today, y'all. So early I had a live, and I started my apples to dehydrating. I was getting preppy earlier, y'all. I was getting preppy, and I prepped my bell peppers for the freezer, storage in the freezer, and I got my apples. I'm probably saying tomatoes for whatever reason. I got my apples washed, sliced, and they're in a dehydrator. So my house right now, Tan's kitchen smells like an apple pie. Y'all. So look, as soon as I cracked open that allspice, I was like, oh, apple pie, y'all. So I got my little sugar mixed up. Now the recipe says about 5 or 10 minutes. 5 or 10 minutes. Put these underneath the broiler. So I'm gonna get my fig slice. And then I'm gonna get them in the air fryer. Y'all, I'm so happy to have figs. It took my tree about a couple years to start producing figs. And the first look. Look how beautiful that is. Let me know if you like figs. Like I said, I grew up eating figs and had too much of them. And I stopped eating them. But after I figured out that I could coat them in cinnamon sugar, you know how bacon makes everything better? Sugar makes everything better too. I don't know if you believe it, but that's what I'm going with. That's what Dad the Great says when we're trying to get him to eat his food. He said, put some syrup on it. I said, no, Daddy, you have enough sugar. Sugar makes it better, makes it go down easier. He always trying to get some extra sugar, y'all. Let me go ahead and turn my air fryer on. Get that thing to heat it. Now I watched another YouTuber say he and his wife was about to have some bacon wrapped figs. That sounds lovely. I haven't wrapped figs in bacon, but I've wrapped apricots in bacon. And that is so delicious. I can't remember the name of that dish, but I went to an event and it was catered. And this is how I find a lot of recipes, y'all. I go to events, or if I'm out someplace and I'm tasting something good, I find myself asking the server to tell me what's in this dish. Now, when I recreate it, and that's exactly why I'm asking what's in it, so I can recreate it on my own. And when I recreate it, Nana J, good morning, welcome to my live. Today I am making sugar coated figs. These figs were grown in my garden. Tan is a gardener, y'all. I'm not an expert, but I'm getting there, and I'm learning as I go. And these figs came off my grow row. I'm coating them in this sugar. Normally it's cinnamon sugar, but Tan don't have no cinnamon, so I'm using a substitute um, allspice. And I'm gonna get these in my air fryer. I'm so happy to be having figs because it took a long time for my tree to produce. Long time for me. Maybe I was rushing it. I don't know. But I'm getting figs, and look, this is an honorable mention. It ain't ready, but it's getting in there, y'all, and it's gonna get in my belly. But I'm happy to have figs because now I know how to eat them. I learned the best way for me to accept the taste for figs. Like I said, I grew up eating figs, and I don't know, maybe I ate too much. Maybe Mom the Great cooked them too much. Didn't cook them the way I like, and I got away from it. But I'm revisiting it. I have a love-hate relationship with the figs and the sweet potatoes, but I'm revisiting them, y'all. Wait a minute. I hope you find them. If you find them, that will be awesome. And there are many ways that you can make figs. Like I said, I picked the easiest way to cook this. This is not a hard recipe by any means, but uh, like I said, figs are not my area of expertise. So I looked up the recipe for quick and easy figs. Quick and easy figs says slice figs, coat them with sugar, put them in the oven. Boom. They going in the oven, y'all. In my air fryer, actually. Now the recipe says for 10 minutes. I'm gonna have them in the air fryer for as long as I need to get that sugar caramelized on top of those figs, or get my figs soft, cause I like them really soft. I don't like my fig firm, you know, because then those little beads. That's another thing. Uh, the texture. Oh, fig leaves. You know what, Nana J? Last year I watched on YouTube a YouTuber. She's called a Black Forger. I've never heard of this, never heard of it, wouldn't have thought about it. Fig leaf syrup is delicious. Oh, I made fig leaf syrup. I put it on my English muffin. I put it in my coffee. And I was looking forward to doing that again this year. However, my fig tree is looking sick and the leaves are falling off. So I'm not gonna do it. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to do it this year. Um, my fig trees are looking sick. And I don't know what it is, but so in a previous live I got my apples ready for the dehydrator, and I got my two dehydrators going right now. I'm getting apple rings dehydrated. Um, I also got my peppers prepped and ready for the freezer so I can get them in my stew, my whatever. You know, when I get in the cooking mood, I like to have those things. I always say I like bell peppers, I like onions, and I like garlic. Those are things that are staples for my fresh. I like to have that on hand. And the wonderful thing about getting the peppers, and we'll get them on that special price. That's the best thing about it. But once I get them, I prep them and they're frozen, and they're ready to go. Whenever I'm thinking I'm about to cook something, I just break off a chunk of the frozen peppers that I have, and I drop it in. That's one less step I gotta do to get the the thing that I'm about to eat, to the table. So, sure, absolutely. We'll see. Maybe we'll see what the doctor says about my figs. Um, and then it's hot here. Y'all, it is hot. It is hot in Texas. The dog days are not here. And if you're from Texas, them dog days, my plants are already taking a beating. But let me show you this. I tell y'all all the time, my mom loves flowers. Ted loves flowers too. And I planted a whole bunch of flowers in my yard, in my garden to attract pollinators this year. These are my zinnia. I'm so happy to have the orange zinnia because orange is my favorite color. But look how pretty they are. And I brought them in just for a little bit of color on my live. I'm waiting on my figs to get ready. Now, while I was looking for this fig recipe, I saw a delicious something extra to kick this up another notch. So I know I like cinnamon coated figs, but what if I put a dollop of whipped cream or some ice cream in between the figs? The one that I saw said cinnamon rosemary sabayon. That's French, y'all. That's French. But I'm not doing all that today. I just want to get the figs roasted off and get them cooked before they go bad. Like, I pulled them off the tree and I've been threatening to do this video for a couple days now. So I just want to go ahead and get them done. Let's see what they looking like. Okay. They getting there. They bubbling, y'all. My figs are bubbling. So I should have them, I should have them to the table shortly for your review. But yeah, so I just want to do this quick video and get these figs done. I also, Nana J, I also have some trumpet mushrooms. I'm trying trumpet mushrooms, and I said in a previous live that those trumpet mushrooms can be used as I always say this, I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian, so my go-to meat substitute for vegans or vegetarians are the mushrooms. So I did a little bit of research on the trumpet mushrooms. It can be used as a pork substitute. They call them vegetarian scallops, and if you cut them, cause the trumpet mushrooms look like this. If you cut them and make a cube, a medallion, it looks like a scallop, and you score it and you cook it in some oil, it gets crisp and the texture of a scallop. However, if you're using it like a pork substitute, if you take that thing and you scrape it with a fork and you break it up into strips and put some barbecue sauce on it, they call it barbecue pork. Let me show you. Let me show you. It's new to me. It's new to me. And what I say is, I'm willing to try something new, especially if I could get it on the special price. You see how it is? Let's say if you cut it like this and you score lines in it and you cook it in some oil, the surface will crisp up and it will look like a scallop. But if you're doing the pork thing, you take it and you strip it with a fork and it gets into strips, and then you put some barbecue sauce on it and it's the texture of meat. And I'm getting ready to, I'm gonna wash these up. I'm gonna wash them up and I'm gonna get them prepped. Might not do it today, but it's on my list of things to get cooked because I bought them. Ooh, I bought them and I don't want them to spoil. And it's gonna be my first time trying them. I've never tried trumpet squash, but I'm trying some. Like I said, I'm not that adventurous of an eater. Like I would try new stuff. but I'm not, like, I know I like mushrooms, so I'm willing to try different kinds of mushrooms, right? But I'm not interested in eating octopus. I don't want to eat the octopus. And I like shrimp and I like prawns. I like fish, but I don't want to see no shrimp with the head on it or no prawns. Don't bring that to the table. You take the head off before you bring it to the table, please, sir, ma'am. I don't want. So I'm gonna try stuff. Um, and I was mentioned in our previous live. Oh, that's looking good. Oh, it's looking good. I was mentioned. I mentioned in a previous video that cactus leaves are edible, right? I never knew it, but however, I came across some cactus leaves cooked in sauce. They look like green beans to me. The gravy, brown gravy, smell good, look good. I was ready to taste something good, right? I bit into it and the cactus was cooked and I guess it was right, but it was slimy and it just went left. So if all the elements were correct, like the taste, texture, shape, and feel in the mouth, I would have been saying cactus was a good thing to eat. However, just because it got slimy and went wrong in my head, I'm just like, no, I ain't doing that no more. And that's what I think every time I see all those big old cactus that are growing around, and I know people eat that and enjoy it. It's a delicacy. And I think about this too when I see my corn that's not growing. People always say, because I'm in a gardening group, I'm in North Texas Gardener and Black Girls Garden. So a lot of people in a North Texas Gardener, they complain about when their corn turns to fungus because they don't know what it is and they don't know what to do with it. A lot of people say it's a delicacy. I want to try it. And it's expensive. It's expensive to buy fungus corn. But people are growing it for free and throwing away their whole crop because they don't know what to do with it. Every time I go and look at my corn, my baby tiny heirloom corn ears, I'm hoping to find some fungus corn. Yes. Here she come, y'all. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. She's ready for a close-up. 10 got a fix. 10 got a fix. Yum. Let me see. So nice. And that was less than 10 minutes, y'all. So if you see figs in the store or you growing figs, try this. I put brown sugar, but the recipe that I had was just white sugar and cinnamon. I put brown sugar, white sugar, and then because I didn't have any cinnamon, I use allspice as a substitute. So, and there's so many variations of this that I'm sure you could do, but mine is just simple, quick, and easy. I want to get this on the plate, cooked up, and I want to try it, and I'm going to move on to the next thing. I got to get my compost packets in the ground. I got to get out in the garden, actually, before it gets too hot, y'all. Back to the heat. Here I go. This is the conversation until I get to winter. And I ain't going to complain much in the winter because winter, fall and winter is Tan's favorite seasons. Anyway, I just hope I'll be able to start my winter fashion show this year. So I got that caramelized. I got it on my fork. Look, y'all. And I know it's still hot. And that sugar is syrupy hot. And ain't nothing worse than a sugar burn. I ain't about to do it today. Not on the weekend. Y'all, it's Friday. Welcome to the weekend. Tan ain't about to put this in her mouth until it gets a little bit cooler. I'm gonna give it a love. Give it a little bit more time. Let me see. Nah, that's still hot. Still hot. Let me see. I thank y'all for joining my live. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a minute what I'm getting up to. In the garden, in the kitchen, out and about, whatever Tan gets up to. You know, I do some stuff. But this is my sugar-coated fig. Grown in my garden, y'all. It's straight from my garden to my table. And you know it's gonna get in my belly. At the moment, I'm waiting on it to cool down so I can go ahead and get a taste. Now, it took me less than 10 minutes to slice my little figs, coat them in the sugar and the allspice, and get them in the air fryer and let that sugar caramelize. I'm gonna go ahead and taste this and let y'all look. Y'all, it's so good. That is so good. Let's see about that other fig recipe. This is a quick and easy fig recipe. When I'm doing something new, I've said before, I pick the quickest, easiest recipe and the thing with the least amount of ingredients. I'm not trying to waste nothing just in case I don't like it. Now I can't get the picture of this. I want to get let me get an image of some. Look, that would be good. It's got the little cream on the side. See, it's got the cream on the side. I think that's that cinnamon, rosemary, pistachio. I ain't doing all that. But like I said, this is a simple dish that can be elevated and turned into something really special. Going in for another bite. And y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live because Tan had done some live. I've done a couple lives. I got my apples cleaned up and in the dehydrator. I've got my peppers washed and sliced and in the freezer. And I've shown y'all my quick and easy sugar-coated roasted fig recipe from figs that I've grown in my garden. And that is delicious. That is so delicious, y'all. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these in my belly. Yeah, that's still hot. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of my sugar roasted figs in my belly. Y'all, it'd be nice if I put some green right there. But I'm not going outside to get no basil. Anyway, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a minute what I'm getting up to. And as always, I thank y'all for watching. Wherever you are, Tan, appreciate you joining my live. And that's gonna do it for me, y'all. Bye.